life, sex, goals, and oh, hell knows, this is Midlife Craving. I am here to tell you what the buzz is all about. That's right. Today we're talking all about my favorite thing in the world, sex toys. Tips and tricks on how I like to use them and why I love them so very much. I am really excited about this episode. I feel like I've always been passionate about pleasuring myself. Actually, I kind of just usually call it jerking off. And I get so many questions about what toys I love, how I like to use them. And you know me, I aim to please. So let's get it on. But first, it's time for my 5-minute orgasm. My 5-minute orgasm is where I release all the things going on in my life lately. And pretty much all that's been going on is a whole lot of work. Oh, and working out. I'm trying to learn new stuff for the podcast. I got a new recorder, and I can't forget to mention how my dentist decided to tell me that my orthodontist may have missed a few things, and he recommends that I get braces put back on. So I go there, and they're like, yeah, we think you should do Invisalign. No big fucking deal here, folks. You know, I had braces on for almost 2 years, but fuck it, I'll just get Invisalign now. I mean, it's been... I don't know. Ever since the Bahamas, I'm just like, what's next? You know, I mean, I just don't even fucking care anymore. Whatever it takes, get it done. Tomorrow morning, I'm leaving for Virginia Beach. And this is actually the trip that I was supposed to take the week after the Bahamas, but we all know how that went down. I'm really looking forward to it, even though it's not that like hot, ideal summer weather where I can just lay on the beach all day. It's supposed to be beautiful this weekend, so that's exciting. I do have to work some, and my daughter's going to get some time with her family, so it should be a relaxing time, hopefully. But, oh my God. So, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to admit this. I had a friend over and he was like, I was telling him, you know, I'm going to be in Virginia Beach. And I was like, you know, I wish I knew some people down there because I'm going to be alone a lot. And he was like, Adrian, just download Tinder and like meet someone. So, oh my God. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, all right, listen, I swear I never would. I swear I would never, ever fucking download a fucking dating app. But I was like, I have a lot of alone time next week. And I thought, well, shit, you know, like, let me go ahead and see if I can find like some cute guy to get a beer with. I mean, fuck it, right? YOLO. You know, I'll be sharing all of my adventures. Wish me luck. I did find a guy to have a beer with, so I'll be meeting with him next week. Not to worry, by the way, I'm not crazy. I share my location with Zach. He knows where I am at all times. Of course, I'm going to be safe, but, you know, just someone to get a beer with, and if we end up fucking, cool. All right, so now let's get to it. Sex Toys 101. I was thinking when I was deciding on what toys to talk about, I thought, you know, I've never really shared my story with sex toys and how my love has evolved for them. I went to my first sex toy party when I was 17 years old. This is back in the day, right? Like before you can just like hop online and order yourself a little something. And I got invited to like the sex party, right? And I was like so excited to see what was out there. And frankly, like the arthritis in my right hand, it was already kicking in and I was at the age of 17, okay? So I go to this party and I was like a kid in a candy store. I was scouring over the pages in her catalog and I put my hands on every single thing I could there. I remember we were like passing around this like double-ended dildo everywhere. But my passion for sex toys, it was born that day. I bought a bullet vibrator and my first dildo. It was a blue, it was like 5 inches. It was like a 5-incher. I figured, you know, I'll start small. Now remember, I'm living with my parents at the time, and I swear to God, keeping that vibrator quiet and hiding that dildo all the time was quite the chore. Like I could never find them because I was always hiding them in different places, you know? Sorry, Mom. I wore that bullet vibrator out. I mean, I was always looking for batteries. God, that is one improvement that they have really made is rechargeable vibrators. And I was fucking myself with that dildo. I mean, it never disappointed. When I got to college, my roommate showed me this huge dildo she bought. And I thought, you know what? It's time for an upgrade. So I got this beautiful, big ass vibrating pink dildo. Like I was like, wow, a vibrator and a dildo. 2 for 1. Hello. Oh my God. That's so funny. This memory just popped in my head. So at the time, I was fucking Pawn Star, and we would have phone sex a lot. And usually I would go to my car. And God, like Can I just tell you how fucking lucky we are today to have Bluetooth and FaceTime and just a million ways to video chat? Like, my God. I mean, I would be holding that small, like, Nokia phone with my left hand, using the vibrator with my other, like in the driver's seat, parked in a church parking lot. God, Pawn Star, if you're listening to this, I know you're laughing. Like, those were the fucking days, man. He really did open me up to so many new experiences. Everyone, I swear, needs a Pawn Star in their life. Anyway, so back to the new pink dildo. So I kept it in my glove box, nice and handy for when Pawn Star and I had our little sessions. Well, I got pulled over on my way to work. So, the cop comes up and he's like, license and registration, please. I opened the glove box and it was like in slow motion. I was like, no. And this big, huge, hot pink dildo fell out to the floor. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I didn't say a fucking thing. Neither did he. I handed him my registration and I just pretended that nothing happened. God, it was so hysterical. It's so funny that memory just popped in my head. Only me, man, only me. Over the next couple of years, I kept collecting more dildos and vibrators. But I will say that not until after my divorce did I really start outfitting my arsenal. Also, I have to say the best improvement over the years has absolutely been the ability to recharge. The amount of batteries I used back in the day, my God. I will say though, it was nice that when it died, you would just pop a new battery in. I mean, I would love for another upgrade for these vibrators would be to have a removable chargeable battery. So if one dies, and God damn, it always happens at the worst times, then I can just pop in a new fully charged battery. Fucking power tools, right? Somebody has to come up with this. All right, enough of my stories. I want to talk about my top 4 toys that I use right now. First, and yes, he literally comes first. He's my go-to, and you guys hear me talk about him all the time, Captain Morgan. Where do I begin with this toy? Originally I found him because of the insane reviews on Amazon. There was this one lady that said that her arms and legs went stiff and she was unable to move. She fell over like a dead baby goat. I mean, what the fuck? There were accounts of women having exorcisms with this thing, and I thought, I gotta fucking try it. It's made by Tracy's dog. I know that's a weird name, but it's her Pro 2 clit sucking vibrator, G-spot dildo clit stimulator with 10 suction and vibrating patterns. That's a fucking mouthful. And listen, you can go to my website, midlifecraving.com, click links, and then you can see the link for Captain there. There's a lot to him. Captain, he's my favorite because he is a true clit sucker. I've never had a toy like it before. You heard me say, 10 suction and vibrating patterns and a clit stimulator and a G-spot dildo. I can't even fucking talk. A G-spot dildo. God, Captain. And I know he can be very intimidating at first. I mean, he was even for me. There is a G-spot portion that you insert, and then it kind of mounts onto your pussy. It's I'm always mount up. And then the clit sucker lines up perfectly to where your clit is. There are 2 buttons. One is for the inserted G-spot portion, and then the other one is for the clit sucker speeds. I'm going to warn you, if it's your first time, you definitely only want to put you want to press the clit sucker button 1 or 2 times. You will be overwhelmed by that. It is absolutely mind-blowing. I will actually place it directly on my clit. And oh my God, when I do, every single time I put it, I'm just immediately, oh my God, yes, Captain, take me away. I mean, every single time. It never fails. I do that. For me, I use the second setting for the inserted G-spot stimulator part. I think that's the highest vibe speed. I love it. And then I use the 3rd or the 4th setting for the clit sucker. Remember, I've been using him for a while. So if you're new, I would use the 1st or 2nd level. Another thing too, that with this toy, I think a lot of women put it on and they're like, well, what happens next? So I actually hold the clit sucking portion and I move it around on my clit at the same time and just focus on spots where it feels really good. Again, for a beginner, I would say, use the 1st setting for the vibe and the 2nd setting for the clit sucker. That's a great place to start. Never have I ever had an issue climaxing with this toy. And I can't imagine that you will either. I've mentioned many times in the show that after I come, I like to get fucked. So what I love most about Captain is I can fuck myself with the inserted portion And to me, like after I finish, and to me, that's the best way to finish. Definitely the best of both worlds. Really quick, I feel like I got to talk about lube. I always use lube with toys. Now, sometimes I'm running really hot and I'll be like rushing home to get a hold of Captain and I'm plenty wet and ready to go. But if it's like in the morning or I'm not 100% ready to go, I always use lube on the G-spot portion and then insert it in. You do not need lube for the clit sucker. Unlike Rosie and Goldie, who are like clit pulsers, where I say the lube is required, Captain does not need it to suck your clit. I want to tell you what I did yesterday with him. I mean, after all these years, Captain Morgan's still schooling me. So I was taking a shower. I like to call it my adult timeout. And I decided to try the highest level of suction for my clit. It was intense, but I was like, I want to make this snappy, you know? What I did differently this time was I suctioned it to my clit and then like I gently pulled it back and forth. Not enough to break the suction. And, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, when I'm holding the clit sucking portion, I usually move it side to side. But this time I was kind of like moving it up and down, like almost jerking off my clit, like literally. But it was an amazing feeling. And I had a delicious orgasm that definitely made me weak in the knees. You know, it's always different when you're in the shower because you're standing up. I like to have orgasms different ways. Like sometimes I try to make myself be quiet, or I'll be standing up, or I'll be hiding in the closet or whatever. I don't know. It kind of mixes things up for me. But I just want to say, Captain Morgan, for me, he gets the coveted #1 spot. I rate him a perfect 10 out of 10. And the one thing I love about toys is that, you know, you can take your time, you can experiment, play, and find out what suits you best. And I like to recommend people, you know, enjoy learning them. And Captain Morgan is one of those toys that you want to get to know and you want to learn for yourself. It doesn't always have to be hurry up and come. So let's talk about one of my newest favorite toys, and that's Goldie. So we talked about Captain and how he's like a true clit sucker. Well, Goldie is a clit pulsing toy. She's like a pulsating toy. I just call it a clit pulsar. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what I call it. She's the Satisfier Pro 2 on adamandeve.com. Remember, you can use the code Cravers, Cravers, and you can get 50% off one of most of the items on their website, access 6 movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping. So don't forget to use that code Cravers, Cravers. So Goldie is relatively new to my toy box, but I have quickly grown to love her. It is one of the easiest toys to hold, and by far my favorite thing about her is her different levels of speed. I need to mention, it's really important, Goldie is a toy that requires lube. 100%, it is a different experience with lube. It definitely like simulates the feeling of someone going down on you. By the way, I've mentioned on the show before, my favorite lube is Astroglide. I've heard great things about other brands and I'll have to try them, but Astroglide just really gets the job done for me. The biggest thing I love about it is it doesn't smell, it doesn't taste, and it's not sticky. Back to the speed settings of Goldie. So I usually use her at like a level 4. To me, that's just the right amount of pulsing. But one of the things that I love about Goldie and what I feel makes her one of the best toys ever is that she makes it really easy to achieve back-to-back orgasms. Here's what I do. I play with her on like level 4 and climax, right? And then of course, you know, my clit is extremely sensitive afterward. But at a level 1, it's just the right amount of touch. So like I can leave it on my clit. I can watch some more porn or do whatever I'm doing to turn myself on. Phone sex, sexting, whatever. And after a few minutes, I mean, I'm really ready to go again. Back-to-back awesome orgasms, all because that lower setting like builds it up and then it occurs effortlessly again. Also, I feel like Goldie holds a charge for a really long time. Like I'm really impressed with this toy. Goldie gets a 9.1 out of 10 for me. God, as we're talking about all these toys, I'm like, fuck, I want to go do it right now. All right, so let's talk about one of my next favorite toys, and that's Moby. It's a funny name, but he kind of looks like a whale. I don't know. Moby is a toy that actually has taken me totally by surprise. He's also available on adamandeve.com. He's the slay #ThrillMeClit Stimulator. And holy shit, does he pack some power. It's funny. I actually got Moby by accident. Adam and Eve sent him to me by mistake, and they were like, hey, just keep him. We'll send you what you originally ordered. And it's turned out to be one of the best mistakes ever for me. Though he be little, he is fierce. And he has 10 vibration settings. And the second one is seriously no fucking joke. That's usually the one that I use it on. You can, play with other pulsing. They have like PS pulsing settings and stuff like that, but I love him for his small size and easy accessibility. You can use the tip to play around your clit, and I actually have tag teamed him up with Captain Morgan. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do. So I'll have Captain on, mounted like I like to explain, and then I'll just use Moby around the edges. It's just another way to play and have fun. And I feel like, God, Moby would be a great toy for foreplay as well. And with a partner, because he's so easy to hold, really small, like it won't get in the way, but he's mighty enough for an incredible orgasm. Remember, when you go to adamandeve.com, use the code Cravers, Cravers, and get 50% off one of most of the items on their website, access to 6 movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? Moby, I give a 8.5 out of 10. Great toy, recommended for everyone, even beginners. So I like that about him. Let's move on to my girl, Rosie. If Captain Morgan is the king in my toy box, well then Rosie, she is the queen. Queen. I originally saw Rosie on TikTok, and I just knew I had to try her. She's literally a rose that fits in your hand, and in the middle of her petals is this spot for pulses of air. They say she's a clit sucker, but to me, Captain Morgan is a true clit sucker. Goldie, Rosie, they're pulsers, but boy, oh boy, Rosie, she's a little different. Side note, one dagger about Rosie is she takes a while to charge. 2 fucking hours, in fact. Like, when I got it out, I wanted to fucking play, and I'm like, 2 hours? 2 fucking hours? But holy shit, is she worth the wait. First things first, lube, just like Goldie, is an absolute must with this toy. I use like a pea-size amount, and I put it right on my clit, and then I let Rosie go to work. Rosie has 7 settings, and number 6 is by far the most incredible one. You know what? The best way to show you is I'm just going to turn it on right here. All right, so this is the first setting. Second setting. Third, like this is like, oh my God, can't take any more. Like, this is some major power right here. All right, number 4. Bunch of poops of air. I haven't really used this one before. All right, here comes number 5. So the pulsing is great. I mean, I think this one would be a good edging setting as well. But number 6, here it comes. I'm coming. So it's like this pulse, 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 pulse. It sounds crazy, but I don't know what it is about it. It's just like that break where it just stops, and then all of a sudden you're edging, and then finally, like, you capitalize on that orgasm. I mean, this toy is intense, like, even for a veteran like me. I mean, and it takes some caution and some time to play with it. Like I said, like, I learned to speak whale using it, okay? And you will too. It's funny. People talk to me about like my Dory tendencies when I say certain words like hard, hard, or coming, or any other words that remotely reminds me of cock. And Dory too knows how to speak whale. I guess like that's a really accurate nickname for me right now. All right, so let's talk about my trick to getting to like what I call a pyramid orgasm or the stepladder orgasm. Jesus, it is like any other fucking orgasm you will have. Honestly, I used her the other day, and I swear to God, I pulled an ab. I actually thought I was like, oh my God, did I just break a rib? Like this fucking thing. Okay, so here's how you use it. I put her on the 6th setting. So it's like pulse, pulse, pulse. And I do not put it directly on my clit. I put it a little bit above. The pulsing sensation just creates like this incredible buildup. It's almost like I'm edging myself. I'll be feeling like really close, and then all of a sudden it will change vibrations, and I'm like, God damn it, I missed it. Like I can feel the pain right now of that. But finally, after so much buildup, I hit the vibration setting just right, and holy shit, mother of God. Fireworks exploding, loss of all bodily function, and a mind-blowing, heart-stopping, can't control my sounds, neighbors think I'm fucking dying, orgasm occurs. Okay, like... That is like the most accurate way to describe like how hard Rosie makes me come. I have never, ever in my life experienced something like this before. I cannot use Rosie discreetly. She is a toy made for you to lose yourself completely. Also, I think she'd be a great toy with partners as well because she's so easy to hold and so fucking powerful. A friend actually reached out to me yesterday and she said, Adrian, I used Rosie with my husband and she was telling me that she came so hard that her legs went straight up in the air. And she said her husband couldn't help but laugh. And like she was laughing and she was like, it was fucking hysterical and amazing all at the same time. And I fucking love that for her, so highly recommend Rosie. Rosie you can get for yourself or, buy it for your partner and treat her. I mean, what a gift. You can get it on my website, midlifecraving.com. I have a link to her there. Rosie, 100%, hands down, 10 out of 10, absolutely, positively recommend. Best orgasm I've ever had. Man, all this talk about Rosie and then feeling her in my hand, I'm going to have to immediately see her after this. I really hope the details about these 4 favorite toys of mine help you explore yourself with them more. Or maybe it'll even open you up to trying one. Pleasuring yourself is nothing to be ashamed of. It's an incredible release. And orgasms are proven to be one of the best stress relievers ever. A mental health advocate over here. So I get a lot of questions about sex toys, and so I want to answer a few. This one's a really popular question. Adrian, how do you keep your toys clean? I honestly just lick them clean afterwards. Just kidding. I actually use... Some of you are going to be like, yes, she does. I actually just use like simple Dial soap. I know Adam and Eve and other retailers sell actual sex toy cleaner. I'm too fucking lazy for all of that. So I use Dial soap. And one thing is for sure, I do clean them well every single time. Ain't nobody got time for a UTI or a yeast infection or whatever the fuck a dirty toy can give you. The next question I get a lot is, where do you keep them hidden? God, I don't have a good answer for this. In fact, I'm like the queen of stashing sex toys. Sometimes I stash them and I lose them and it's like so fucking frustrating. Usually you can find them in my bathroom sink or in my drawers in the bathroom, kitchen counters, or in the cabinets. I'm not very discreet with them. I need to get better about it. And then I get so frustrated because I usually will just stash Capt in the drawer in the guest's bathroom. And then I'm like, where did I put him? Where did he go? So I don't know, maybe I don't have a good answer for that. You should try to find a discreet place, a safe place for them. I kind of just stash them anywhere. This is another question that's really popular. Okay, so do you travel with your toys? Do you check them in your bags? I have actually never flown with my toys. God, next time I definitely fucking will, because when I was in the Bahamas, 14 days without Captain, that sucked, I do know you can fly with toys. You can bring them in your carry-on or in checked luggage. I would just say I would put them in a clear bag so that, if they go through it or you have to go, around the corner checking you out, which always happens to me, that so they can see through it really quickly. And I would also recommend letting the batteries die. Imagine a buzzing bag going through customs. That's not a good look. FYI, I am bringing Captain to Virginia Beach. You're coming with me, buddy. Would you rather have sex with a man or use your sex toys? Do you even know me? This answer is very obvious for me. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. I have talked about this many times in the show. I am all about penetration. Also, I'm all about eye contact, the sounds of sex, all of the fluids. So yeah, the real thing every time over toys. But I do love my time with my toys too. I run hot all the time. I know people say, oh, I have a high sex drive or whatever. But for me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to function until I get this out. Toys are absolutely an everyday thing for me. I would say I use them, 15, 20 times a week. I know that sounds insane, but it's kind of like I got to tame the beast, okay? And she gets real angry if I don't. Bitch runs my life. All right, so my next question is, what toy would you suggest for a beginner? This is a great question. Out of all the ones I discussed here today, I would say Moby. Super easy to use, no learning curve, and great vibrations. Good vibes all around. Also, I would suggest getting a bullet vibrator, kind of how I got started. On adamandeve.com, there's this one called Pretty in Pink Bullet Vibrator. That would be perfect if you ask me. I'm sitting here thinking like, if you're just starting out, you got to get a dildo too. Vibrators, they get all the glory here, but I have a lot of fun with my dildos too. Oh my God. So on Adam and Eve, I was looking this up. They have one that's My First Willy. It's 5.5 inches, very realistic looking, and it has a suction cup on the bottom. And that is key, by the way. You're going to want that. Pro tip, it'll attach to your wall. Oh my God. I'll save that for another show. But get yourself a dildo too if you're first starting out. Okay. How do you introduce toy play to your partner? Simply, you just communicate about it, expressing your interest in them and how you think it would be fun for you too. I know people can be intimidated by them or completely turned off. Listen, my ex, he was not a fan, and I struggle with that for sure. But I would be patient and just communicate your needs, and hopefully they'll be up for trying something new. You can also, break the ice. I have a sex match game on my website, midlifecraving.com, and under downloads, go there and just try to start breaking the ice with games at first, and then start talking about toys. You could also surprise them with a new toy, but if I were going to do that, I would get it for them and allow them to try it out alone first and get comfortable with it. And then, I would introduce it to the bedroom. I hope that works out for you because there's so much fun to be had with toys. Like I was saying, it was an issue for me in my last relationship. That was definitely not something that he was into, and it hurt me. And part of me was just so bummed I didn't know where to go. And to be honest with you, most times I would use the toy before or use the toy after because I'm like, bitch, I gotta come, But so hopefully it works for you. I can understand the frustration though, but I feel like everyone should have an open mind. There's absolutely nothing wrong with sex toys, and it is such a great way to spice up your sex life. So much sex toy talk. Man, it is time for me to go spend some quality time with them. Maybe Rosie, Captain. I'm thinking definitely Rosie. But all this talk about them has me ready to play. Remember, you can find each of these toys and Astroglide, my favorite lube, on my website, midlifecraving.com, under links. Don't forget, if you're going to adamandeve.com, use the code Cravers when you make a purchase. Okay, Cravers, I am so excited because for my next episode, I'm learning about something that I do not know a whole lot about, but I've always wanted to, and that is open marriage, swinging, swapping, or whatever you want to call it. I'm meeting up with Cat and Ams from Two Hot Wives podcast to learn all the things, including on why someone like me is deemed a unicorn. I mean, that's a cool name. I'll take it. I am so excited to meet with them and learn more about this world. And they are very open. They're amazing women living their best fucking damn lives. Not to mention they're hot. So I can't wait. And I'm excited for this next episode. Don't forget, see you next Tuesday, every other Tuesday. Also, I can only imagine what's going to go down this week in Virginia Beach. Me plus Tinder plus Bud Lights. Oh, God. Pray for me, Cravers. Hurricane Adrian coming in hot. Warn the locals.